Well, Freunds der Show, die Niemals Endet, or in German, welcome my friends to the show that never ends.
German?
At least, yeah. Well, I thought that would sort of, they'll all be watching to find out what England are going to do, that sort of thing. This is where they'll get all their tips on how to beat us, I thought. So we'll have lots of Germans listening to this.
Surely they'll think the opposite because we just say what's bad about England as opposed to what's good.
Well, we can have a go at what's bad about Germany, can't we?
True, yeah.
That'd be easy.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, actually, we're going to look at the 4 games played. We've sort of discussed the 4 games coming, haven't we? Did that last time. But we also want to sort of touch on penalty taking, because that might rear its ugly head yet again, and things have changed since we've lost to Germany 1, 2, 3, how many on penalties? I can't remember.
Quite a few years ago.
Yeah, but it's been about 4 times, wasn't it? Something like that.
Oh, I see. 4 would be impressive, but I don't know how many times.
No, I can't remember. All I remember is hiding behind the settee. Oh no, not again. Things have changed since those days, and maybe this is where Henderson made a big error in that it should have changed for him not to take that penalty. We'll discuss that a little bit. Here we go then. Well, let's start at the beginning, shall we? Which was the first game?
Wales, Denmark.
Yeah, it didn't start well, did it, really?
I didn't think it started badly. It
first
ended
5 minutes.
What happened in the first 5 minutes?
Well, Wales actually kicked the ball in their half, I think.
Well, yeah. The first like sort of 20, 25 minutes, you thought, Bale's kind of on it today, isn't he? And he was making a few things happen for Wales. Unfortunately, the rest of the team didn't really join him in that.
No.
None of them really turned up. This is the thing, because Bale was played in about 10 Champions League finals, isn't he? And so his last 16 game against Denmark isn't going to phase him one bit.
No.
Whereas for the rest of these players, it's some of the biggest games that they'll ever play. And so you've just got the impression that some of them cracked a bit under the pressure, especially in the second half. First half, they were okay. And the goal that Denmark scored in the first half was very good. But second half, it just crumbled, unfortunately.
I think some of the press weren't very kind to Bale. I think the first thing was having to keep going at him about, are you ever going to play for Wales again? Are you ever going to play for Wales again?
Trash,
are you going to ever play? I think leave the poor bugger alone. Let him get home first. And I thought that was unnecessary. So what's the big story? There's loads of big stories. You didn't need that as a big story if he would say, well, I'm thinking about retirement. He never would have said there and then. Even if he was packing it up, that wasn't the place.
The thing is, he's never actually hinted at it. Like, he's always... But it's the press that have bigged up this idea that Bale could retire very early. He's never hinted at it himself. And so they've just got this idea from out of nowhere. He's only 31.
Yeah. And
he
has come out with a comment now saying he will play for Wales every time he's picked to the end of his career.
Yeah.
He's actually come out and said that. So they can just go and get lost now and leave the poor man alone. And there were 1 or 2 comments also I read in the press about he didn't play particularly well this tournament. And then they sort of marked out what he'd missed. And I thought, that's unfair as well, because actually 1 or 2 games, we actually said how good he was.
He arguably has put in the best individual performance this tournament so far.
I thought so. I mean, the poor bloke,
Definitely
he's
up
playing, let's be blunt about this. He's playing with a really crap team.
Yeah.
Okay. Compared with the others that are just class gold, he's playing not with that. They're a team. That's how they do it, by being a team, by being a Wickham. And that's how they have to do it. And he can't carry 11 players.
Yeah, I think I mentioned this last time. Wales are closer to North Macedonia than they are to England, and the press make up this thing that they should be over here, much closer to like England's kind of level. That's not who they are. Poland, who have Lewandowski, who everyone is saying this is, world class striker, who's the best in the world. Even he couldn't carry Poland into the next round.
No.
Bale did it, and Wales as a country did it.
Yeah.
They managed to get through to the next round. So the last 16 is very good.
They should be heroes, shouldn't they?
Yeah. The fact they got to the semi-finals last time is as big a miracle as Leicester winning the league.
I mean, I think it's amazing that they're disappointed.
Yeah.
I mean, that is incredible. They're disappointed.
It's probably testament, maybe testament to the team about the fact they're disappointed. But also, you have to be realistic as well. Most of these players play in League One and the Championship.
Yeah, yeah. And I think Bale, as a captain, was very good. And I think he deserves a pat on the back. Leave the poor bloke alone. I think he's done a great job over the years. And I think those players in that team have learned. I hate that. I have to say, we'll learn from this. I think, what will you learn? How to lose. I was always saying, but I think when I say they'll learn from him, I think they will learn, particularly not football, but they will learn competition, how to deal with competition, so they don't break under that. And I think that's what he has to carry them more for, trying to help them through the big competitions. And I think he's done a pretty good job myself. And I think he should be. Well, I don't think there's any problem in Wales, what they think of him. I think it's a problem in the press. What else can we say about that game? Any disappointing? Disappointing. I think the 4-0 was disappointing.
Yeah, if it was 2, it would have been the much nicer scoreline, wouldn't it?
Yeah, they didn't need to go out to that sort of scoreline, did they?
No, I thought it was a bit unfair. The red card definitely wasn't. No idea how the ref has given that, nor has VAR given that. Apart from that, yeah, that's about it. It wasn't as if Wales were particularly bad. They just didn't have it under that sort of pressure.
No,
which is weird because they beat Belgium last time. So,
yeah. Well, it goes to show you, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, is that enough on Wales?
That's enough on Wales.
That's enough on Wales, and we'll see Wales back in the next tournament, will we?
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah. They didn't do as bad as Scotland, worth mentioning.
True that. Very true.
And the next game was, just to say, Denmark. That was who they were playing, wasn't it?
It was.
I'm very confused now. Got to say, the pundits have got to stop this. They did it for Ericsson. That is getting very boring, pundits. Bog off. They did it because they want to be successful and win that cup. They did not do it for Ericsson.
It might contribute as a little motivation, but that is it.
Yeah, they want to win it.
They didn't win that football match because Ericsson had a cardiac arrest.
No.
Which is kind of what it makes it sound like.
Yes, and they keep going about, well, everybody now wants them to win. No, I don't. I want the best team to win.
Right. Oh yeah, I couldn't really care less if Denmark go in or out.
No, no. So they can give that one a miss as well. The whole sort of, oh, aren't we all heartbroken? That's a bad comment. But you know what I mean. I mean,
It makes us sound.
Yeah,
probably,
how many people have cardiac arrests every day? And that doesn't mean I don't care. I'm not saying I don't care. I'm just saying, I'll move on. Move on.
Yeah.
You know?
It makes us sound like
he lived.
Boring trolls, doesn't it? Just
Yeah.
being like, oh, then.
No, congratulations. I'm
yes.
really happy he lived. Thank goodness for that. I watched that and I was sort of shocked. I was, but let's move on.
Yeah. Agreed.
Next game was
Italy, Austria.
Oh, this was a strange one, wasn't it?
A bit of a slog.
Yeah, a slog. Yeah, 90 minutes of slog. I thought Italy looked like Liverpool in that just kept going and it was never going to happen.
It was interesting, wasn't it? Because we went into this thinking that Austria were going to have nothing for them. And in all fairness, they didn't have much anyway. But Italy just looked a bit tired. Like, just looked a bit fatigued, which is kind of weird. I don't know whether them being in a different country, them having actually to travel to a game made a difference, but yeah.
It seemed like if they'd scored in the first half an hour, it would have been a roller coaster of goals. But because it didn't happen in the first half hour, it just became just kept doing the same thing. And that defence of Austria, they weren't going to score. I mean, Austria weren't going to score. I didn't think.
No.
It was just heading for penalties. That's what Austria were doing.
It's probably fair enough.
Yeah, of course. This is competition games, isn't it? This is what you do. I mean, I'm afraid, and I say afraid because it doesn't mean they're all necessarily great games.
No. I mean, quite frankly, Austria could have snatched in the 90 minutes, couldn't they? They had that offside goal that was like minuscule.
Yeah.
Which is quite unfortunate. That goal actually as well, Austria, was very good.
Yeah.
Like, the header you had to stoop down for and put in the near post was excellent.
I thought I'd won that one because I'd put 2-0 and I thought I'd got that one. And damn it, they went and scored.
That's a shame.
But yeah, I'm pleased Italy got through. Italy are my team to win it, I have to say, if not England.
Yeah, I probably would have not necessarily agreed with you, but said that they've got a very good chance. I'm not sure that game was completely backed up that claim.
They're a machine.
That might just be one game in which they're not as good, but we wait to see. I thought Holland were going to do well, and then flip nose.
Yeah, here we go, Holland. Well, I was looking at the notes about what I said about Holland, and actually, what we saw yesterday backed up what I'd written. I'm looking it all up now, and what group were they in? Any idea?
B, C.
I don't know. Right, because I actually put something like, they're a bit lost, and they're not 100% sure where they're going, and they're fine at sort of, just doing their own thing. But when it actually comes to working as a team, then they get lost. And that's exactly what happened, wasn't it? They got a bit lost out there.
Well, I mean, as soon as the red card came, they definitely got lost.
Yeah.
They had no idea.
It was a bit of a surprise, that score. It was a bit of a surprise. And the game, but, I mean, saying the red card finished it off, the game was in the balance before that red card appeared.
As in, the sides were quite equal.
Yeah.
And I'd say that obviously the scoreline was, but I'd say Netherlands were kind of a little bit on top, but Not by much, maybe. Not as much as I expected them to be.
I mean, the big chances. They talked about that 36-second thing that changed the game, where the Netherlands went running up. He had the one-on-one goalkeeper, went to go round him, completely cocked it up. I mean, it was shocking. That's what I would do. Okay. Mind you, I probably would never have made it to the goalkeeper without having to get a deck chair out and sit down and a drink.
I mean, the striker could have waited for a good 20 minutes before any defenders got near him, couldn't he?
Yeah.
I don't know how he got through.
But this is where me and you have always said, you flip the goalkeeper. You don't try and run round them. You put it over the top. They're always going to go down.
He had so much space to put it over the top as well, because the keeper was like near on the edge of his 18-yard box.
It always works. Watch Ronaldo. Well, you can't anymore. We'll come to that.
Watch Messi.
But the thing is, I don't think they kept saying on TV, that 36-second, that's what changed. I thought he tripped the defender anyway before reaching the goalkeeper. And I think it would have been a foul when it went to VAR. I don't think it would have been a goal anyway.
Yeah, but that doesn't sound exciting.
The defender couldn't tackle him, and he then carried on and completely cocked it up. I think that would have been a free kick anyway. I don't think that would have been a goal had he scored it.
Fair enough. I can probably agree with that, to be honest. But that doesn't sound as exciting, does it?
And then, of course, off he goes. Off they go down the other end, and we have the Scoopy out of with both hands. What was he doing?
Why did he just head it the first time?
What was he doing? I mean, but defenders, they make this mistake, don't they? You're better off being 1-0 down with 11 players on the pitch, surely, than having 45 minutes to go with 10 players on the pitch at 0-0.
For some reason, defenders have it ingrained in them that a goal and a res card are kind of equal. So I'm trying to say, like, having a red card is less of an issue than conceding a goal, which is completely rubbish.
Yeah.
Because if the Netherlands had gone 1-0 down, who wasn't to say that with the chances they were creating that they wouldn't have just gone the other end and scored?
Well, who's to say the goalkeeper wouldn't have saved it? Anyway, he could have missed. Let's be frank about this. The Czech Republic aren't well known for great goal. So, the percentage of goals, I mean, who's to say?
Yeah. I don't think it was kind of like on the edge of the box anyway, and I don't think he would have been able to have the time to get off a decent shot.
And it was on the left-hand side,
so
he wasn't in the middle. The goalkeeper would have the goal covered. I mean, who's to say?
Defenders coming back,
So I don't get that. And I like the Gary Neville comment. I was trying to listen to somebody else on the radio rather than them. But anyway, at half time or at the end of the game or whatever, end of the game, Gary Neville said, "You never slip as a defender. You're only off balance." Is that right? I get his point, but is he right?
You never slip.
He said, "You never slip as a defender, only ever off balance."
I suppose once you feel off balance, you feel very vulnerable. Hence why De Ligt did what he did. I suppose you don't really ever slip, do you? No, I do get that.
Yeah. And the other thing about their goal is watch the keeper. What the bloody hell did he think he was doing? Watch the keeper. All right, you always watch the goal, the strikers, and what they're doing. The goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Does he not know you're not allowed to go on holidays yet? I mean, he'd got his sunglasses on, for God's sake. I mean, he wasn't. I don't know what he thought he was doing. Watch the goal on YouTube. and watch the goalkeeper. I don't know.
It's like a 6-year-old chasing a ball, isn't it? As soon as the ball goes to back post, he just runs straight over there, and then the ball goes back over his head, and he's absolutely nowhere near the ball.
He got a suitcase in his left hand.
Yeah.
Just baffled me. Now, the player I want you to talk to about, Schick, the guy that scored it. Same guy that scored the 48-yarder against Scotland. Okay, and we thought that was a freak. Okay. What did you think about him?
Having watched the highlights,
did you think about anything about him? I mean, because what I'm getting to
is the fact that he keeps scoring.
Well, sort of that, but he's going to his pod. Here we go. The top goal scorers updated game to game. This is the sort of things I need, you see. Now, the Golden Boot, here we are. Coming in at number 1 at the moment, is Cristiano Ronaldo from Portugal. We'll come to that in a minute. He ain't going to score any more.
No.
He's got 5. We'll come to how disappointed I was he didn't get his 6th, I have to say. Then coming in at number 2 is Patrick Schick for the Czech Republic with 4. And then we come to all the 3s, and Wijnaldum, he ain't going to score anymore, and Lewandowski for Poland, he ain't going to score anymore. Then you've got Forsberg for Sweden, Lukaku for Belgium, and they've got 3. So, will Schick score any more?
They play someone.
Score any more? I'm sure I could make a song out of that.
Don't they play someone pretty crap in the next round?
Don't they get something like? Don't they get Sweden or Denmark? It's one of those, isn't it? They're on our side, aren't they? Denmark.
So it'd be Sweden or who was Sweden playing? It's like Ukraine or something. That's wrong. Don't know, but they're playing someone not great, regardless.
That's a bit unfair, Kieran.
Because the whole point is that if we beat Germany, then we have an easy route to the final.
Yes, because what you've got on one side you've got Italy,
France,
and Belgium,
yeah,
etc. I think the worst we get is Spain, or rather, the best we get is Spain, Sweden,
yeah,
etc. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's no reason to say Schick can't go and score a couple more.
There you go. There's another. There's the and Schick. There's no reason Schick can't score anymore.
It's a solid song, isn't it?
Yeah, I think we're getting there. I think we can get.
It has to be said that his price range is going to be bumped up, isn't it? I reckon Everton will sign them because they'll be like, "Oh wow!"
Well, he plays in the Bundesliga, does he?
Does he?
Or Leipzig, isn't he?
Is he Leipzig?
I'm not sure. He's in the Bundesliga, isn't he? Could he not be?
He plays for Bayer Leverkusen.
Right. Okay. I knew there was
and he's only 25. He is 1.87 meters tall, so he's tall as well. He's young. Sounds like the perfect player.
We did discuss that, though, didn't we? About what you see in this competition. You buy them based on what they do in this competition.
Oh, well, here you go. Chelsea and Arsenal in for Patrick Schick. Go on, Arsenal.
Chelsea.
No,
they
surely
stick
not.
their name in everything, don't they?
I would imagine not Chelsea. Arsenal, though, that'd be fun.
Dear, oh dear.
That's fun.
Okay, well, good luck, the Czech Republic, until you play us again. Was just the last point. Was that the same Czech Republic that England played? Did we do really well, or weren't they really playing too well? when they played us.
Didn't get the impression they were playing too great against us. And it wasn't like they played fantastically against the Netherlands. They just did a bit more. They were a bit more. They expressed themselves.
They expressed themselves on the
They
football
expressed
pitch.
themselves.
Didn't
Yeah,
get arrested for that.
probably. But no, they
Right.
just did a bit more.
Well, they played Denmark in the next round.
There you go.
That'll be penalties. Okay, next game, Kieran. How many have we done? One,
Portugal, Belgium.
2, 3. So my
done that,
last
right?
one. Yeah. Portugal, Belgium. Well, here's a couple of little points. Portugal. They were never given a chance in this competition. This is what I feel, to put the right team together. They were never given a Czech Republic to play, or a Scotland, or a.
They had Hungary.
Yeah, but they did better than everybody expected.
True.
I mean, they had it tough from the beginning, and they never were given a breather, I don't think. And so it was bang on the head with a piece of wood from the beginning.
I suppose they have played France, Germany, and Belgium 3 games in a row, and that does take its toll, doesn't it?
And do you know, from the first game to the fourth, the whole of the midfield was a different midfield by the time they got to this game. Do you know that? Wasn't the same player on the pitch.
You
Completely
could guess,
different.
Yeah.
I mean, what? And I feel a little bit sorry for Portugal. I think they could have found themselves.
Express themselves almost.
I just don't think they were given a chance, and that's what I think. They were never given a chance.
So if they were in a group like ours, you'd give them more of a chance.
Yeah, because they could win games while finding out what works best.
I think it's arguably less about finding themselves. It's more about the fact that they have played all those games in a row. And Belgium is definitely not the team you want to play when you've played those teams prior.
No.
Because, you'll have De Bruyne, who's snappy, Lukaku, and the 2 Hazards. The 2 Hazards.
2 Hazards.
Yeah. Not that Eden is very good anymore, but,
well, he won't be, will he?
No. I mean, he was actually okay yesterday, but De Bruyne injured again, actually.
Yeah, we'll come to that. Yeah.
No, I do feel a bit sorry for Portugal, although because it is weird because their strike force supposedly in their midfield is absurd. Because Bruno Fernandes, who by the way has done nothing this tournament,
shocking. I think
to put that in, yeah.
Yeah. We'll just like to say, all you Man United fans out there, he was shocking.
He was trash,
Shocking.
and I loved every second of it. Him being trash. Bernardo Silva, who again I like being trash. He didn't do very well either in this tournament.
What about Jota?
Ronaldo?
Where was his Liverpool skills?
He missed a few, didn't he?
He wasn't good. He
did miss a few.
And you have to say, if Ronaldo had got a shirt with some stripes along here, it could have been. You could have played "Where's Wally" or "Where's Ronaldo" in that last 20 minutes.
They pocketed him, didn't they?
They just left him out of the game.
Yeah,
they couldn't find him, did they? Where's Ronaldo?
No. I did like Roy Keane's comment about João Felix, who cost Atletico Madrid 100 million. Doesn't look like a 100 million pound player, does he? No. I think they skipped a beat a bit too soon there, Atletico.
Yeah,
they're like, oh my word, he scored a lot of goals for Benfica. Doing that for Benfica, I'm not sure is as difficult as they made it out to be.
what we need, though, I mean, that game, you'd have to say Belgium. I think they've missed their chance, you know. I think with two of their top players now off, I mean, they reckon, don't they, that De Bruyne's looks like a hamstring as well. They'll
Oh, is it as well?
Yeah.
Oh.
And Hazard, his is the same.
Did he get injured as well?
Yeah. He went off, holding the back of his leg. He waddled off. So they've lost those two players.
It's all on Lukaku now, isn't it?
It is. I don't think they can do it.
It'd be very impressive if they could without those two.
I think Belgium was sloppy. They were tired. They were slow. I think Lukaku was left about 40 yards up the pitch. I thought he did well for having to be on his own up there. He's not usually that sort of player, but he was left 40 yards in front of everybody. And they were all back here playing bad.
He had Ruben Diaz rattled, didn't he?
He did. He did. I thought he did really well considering he'd got nothing to play with. And I just thought Belgium did not look good. They looked beatable. And I bet you Italy play Belgium next, and I bet they were thinking, we can do them.
It's okay to go low, but then they still got to realise that Belgium have players that create stuff on their own, and so that could easily happen.
Yeah, I don't mean that Italy think, all right, we're going to whop them. But no. I think having seen yesterday and seen the two players going off, they will think
this is a chance.
It's better than it was. They now will have thinking, well, actually, they're not what I thought.
They'd be more scared if they had to play Portugal in the next round.
Yeah, I think so. I would rather play Belgium than Portugal. It's gonna. I just thought they did not look good. Didn't look good, and Belgium were very, very negative, and I thought that was strange. And what do you think the competition is missing? We need a Brazil, don't we? We need a helter-skelter team. We need a team that sort of take the risks and go for it, don't we? Or is this good football?
Do you mean like a top team who just go all out?
A wild team that can win 6-0. Because we don't have one, do we? The nearest. What's the nearest team? Germany.
Well, Germany, Portugal is what I'm referring to. Trying to think, because Italy had been a couple of teams 3-0, but that doesn't necessarily count.
No, that was done as a sort of walkthrough, wasn't it? Well planned.
And Germany, Portugal, France haven't seemed to be that sort of team. England definitely haven't.
We need flair, Kieran. We need flair.
You know what? If England were Brazilian, I would say that we could easily do that sort of job. Because we have, like, your tricky cams, like, I was going to compare Foden to Ronaldinho. That's a bad idea. Do you know what I mean? Those type of players. They're nowhere near as good.
And, of course, we've got Pele there in the middle.
Yeah, you've got Ronaldo up top. Fat Ronaldo. Kaka in behind. No, it's just... You know what I mean? Like, we have those type of players who could play for Brazil in a Brazil team. And so we could do that job. However, we're really not going to do that job. No, it does require a big team just to, like... Scare
people.
Yeah.
There's no scare in there, is there?
Like, we should arguably be scared of Germany. We're not. I'm not anyway. There's no reason to be scared of that team. Is there?
I mean, that's right. You go to stadiums, and you sort of it's difficult to break. You go to teams that you know are going to be difficult, and you don't know what you're going to quite get. In here, it's all written down on a piece of paper.
yeah, it's just not. You don't get France beating somebody 4-0 really convincingly and playing really good football and think, oh shit, we're in trouble. You can't just get, oh, we're playing France in the next rounds. We'd have a chance. This isn't scare you. Which is weird because we'll get twatted by Germany.
Saying we're going to get twatted by Germany, just to say, a very, very 1 minute job. Okay, 1 minute.
This is our preview for England Germany.
Yeah, I don't want all the names of the players and stuff like that because we've done that so many times and so does everybody else. I want to know the format of beating Germany from what you've seen. Okay, I'll tell you what I think, and then you can tell me how wrong I am.
Yeah, will do.
Germany play with a back three. They play a 3-4-3. Does that add up? Yeah, it does. And what they do is they move their wing backs to attack with 5 players. Okay. If we play 4 at the back, we're in trouble because they will always have one extra fast player attacking us and we will be held back until they finally score. We have to play as a 3-4-3 to counter what Germany is doing, so they cannot attack consistently because they've got to watch us doing the same at the back. Okay, and they're going to do that whatever we do, play with that 3-4-3. So I think we have to. Do you think we have to? And do you think we will? Because I don't think he will. And I think, therefore, we're going to be held back against our goal line while they attack. And we're going to have Kane on the halfway line waiting for the ball for 90 minutes. Okay, that's what I think.
I think we should have started this tournament with 3 at the back. However, we haven't for goodness knows what reason. And he'll be stubborn and he'll stick to 4 at the back because he'll think we should think more about ourselves than we should about the opposition.
I am thinking about ourselves.
Well, yes. But in this situation, like, their wing backs and their wingers will take us apart.
That's how they took Portugal apart, I might add, with 5 up front.
Yeah. So they have the wing backs, and then they have Sane and Gnabry on each side. And if we play our 4-2-3-1, that requires Rice and, if it's Phillips, because they've got to do an awful lot of running each side to support the fullbacks, because it ain't going to be Foden and Sterling in front of them. And anyway, they can't defend very well. So it does need a 3-4-3.
Good. I wondered whether you'd agree with me. And Willie?
Of course I will. Oh, no.
No. Okay. So we'll leave that there.
But if he does, we can't chat rubbish. Because he did what we told him to do.
Yeah. Not so when we go to penalties, and and this is what we're going to finish with, everybody. Penalties. What the difference? Once upon a time, they used to all be in a huddle in the middle. Okay, and it was who's taking the next one and who's taking the next one. They write it down, give it to the referee, and they've made their decision there. Then it's blow the whistle and you walk up that middle all on your own and the whole stadium feels on top of you. And here we go. Chris Waddle. I felt I was stepping off the edge of the world into silence. He missed. This is Paul Gascoigne in 96 and he scored. Okay. I just wanted to stop and cry my eyes out. This is Alan Shearer, England versus Spain in the quarter-final. Okay, and he scored. That walk from the centre circle is the longest, hardest 50 yards I've ever known. Okay, and I mean, I can keep going, but this I'll give you as the last one. A surprise. Gareth Southgate, Germany versus England, semi-final, Euro '96, and he missed. The walk seemed to take forever. It struck me how dark the night had become. Ooh, and surprise, he missed. Now, I want to discuss penalty taking. They've changed it. You could buy a whopping book by a psychologist on how to take a penalty nowadays. And this is what they say. It used to be you'd go along to training and you'd sort of kick the ball around and you'd all take it in turns, practicing your penalties. And then you'd go to the game and you'd stand there and say, who wants to take a penalty? And the captain had to put his hand up, even though he was crap at taking penalties, etc., etc. And only those who weren't scared took the penalties, okay? Yeah. And then you had to wait. You had to go and take the walk. And up as you walked, you thought, now, which side do I put it? Where am I going to put it? I'm going for the top left-hand corner. Nobody's done that yet. And boom, over the top it goes. Right? This is what they do today. They train and play games. They're knackered. At the end of the day, when they're worn out, all the players go to the centre. It's already decided the order. They've been told where to kick the ball. They don't make that decision. It's decided.
They don't make a decision. That's rubbish.
No, it's all done with with the pads, and they discuss with the players what they're happy with, and they make their mind up before the game. So there's no having to think about it. You know your third. You know the walk because you've done it in training tons of times. Okay, the pressure will be different. You know where you're putting the ball. You're not taking that 50 yards and making your mind up as you go. You put the ball down. You know where you're kicking it. You've done it hundreds of times in training. You've been knackered when you've been taking those penalties, and you do it. If it doesn't go in, hey, you knew what you were doing. Everybody knew what you were doing. Not your problem. Unless, of course, you put it 50 yards over the bar, in which case you've really cocked it up. And therefore, a lot of the pressure is taken off. I think today they shouldn't be as scared.
You probably do get that impression, though, from recent penalties that we've watched. I can't remember what the one before was. The last one I can definitely remember was Man United versus whatever crap team they lost to in the Europa League final. Because that was like 10-11, wasn't it? And the only person who missed was De Gea.
Yeah.
There was definitely one before that. That was, Liverpool-Arsenal, like a year ago. No, that wasn't it. Don't know. There was like a 14-13 somewhere that was pretty mad. Like teams are definitely better at it. Only one or two
goalkeepers remember.
So only one or two people miss in a penalty shootout these days. Not many.
Yeah,
Henderson. At all. Yeah. Henderson. Hopefully he doesn't take one.
And
his last two for England.
And the one other thing, and then I want you to tell me about two penalties you've taken. One you've missed and one you've scored. And
sure.
And what it felt like here in the walk, the taking, the missing, and the scoring. I want you to tell me.
Okay.
I do remember the one at Wycombe Wanderers. And just to mention, there's been no direct free kicks scored in this competition.
That's poor, isn't it?
Isn't that amazing?
I would have scored a few.
Isn't that amazing? Out of all of these games, not one direct free kick has been scored.
And yet people get so excited over a free kick.
How many games has that been? How many chances has that been? Amazing. Anyway, Kieran, one you've missed, and we'll finish with one you scored. You can pick any and what it felt like.
I have missed 3, I think. So one was, well, I'll just go through all because I've thought of them now. I can't pick one. One of them was was at Wickham at half time, and they used to do the penalty thing. It was mad I missed because it was obviously an 11-a-side goal. I never played an 11-a-side goal before, just used to 6-a-side goals. So supposedly I could not put it that far wide, and yet I still did. Didn't watch the second half, just cried the whole time. We did win.
My heart broke. How old were you?
Like 8.
I tell you, you want to find out what being a parent is like. Watch your son miss and cry for the whole of the second half. I tell you, you break as a parent. That breaks you. Anyway, go on.
Another one was it was actually playing. It was like a cup semi-final or something for Eagles. I think everyone had missed, so it didn't really matter. But I missed as well. I think the goalkeeper was ridiculously good. I do remember that because I remember Helen telling me that, and everyone else had missed before, so it was fine. And then there was another one for Bucks Pumas where I missed. This was a goalkeeper who wasn't actually a goalkeeper as well, which was a bit embarrassing. He saved it. It came out to me. So I'm like 8 yards out or so. I missed the rebound because I put it over. But there's a guy who slide tackles me afterwards, and we get another penalty. And then I'm just like, oh, yeah, I'm not taking this one. And then the bloke goes and scores the next penalty.
And what about one you've scored that changed everything?
The
biggest,
the best one I remember was a 6-a-side tournament when I was about 12 or 13, which was a winning penalty.
For
Eagles. I mean, there's obviously the one I scored for Beaconsfield in that 6-a-side tournament against my old team, which was fun as well. That was a lot of pressure because I'd missed that, then I would have been in the mud.
And what's it like walking up to take those penalties? What do you feel?
Your legs do feel a bit stiff. They don't start to move as they should. I know the only pressure you really feel, I mean, obviously it's not from the crowd because it's like you standing on the sidelines.
With my head in my hands.
Yeah. The only pressure you feel...
One second.
You sure?
Yeah.
The only pressure you feel is from your mates standing behind you and the stick you'll get if you miss it. There's only real pressure you feel, but it's still pressure nonetheless. It also does depend on the situation. Because there have been a couple I've taken that have just been for a club in like the 3rd round of the cup or something that hasn't hugely mattered. But I'm quite a big bottle job with penalties actually, because I was asked to take one for school once and I didn't because everyone in the school football team was mean and and I didn't like it, and so I didn't take one even though I was told to because I was quite good at them.
And the last question, and then we'll finish. And that is, do you decide beforehand where you're going to put it, or when you're running up, or when you're walking from the centre up to the? When do you decide?
In practice, I'm very good at putting it to my left, putting it in that corner. But as soon as I start walking up, I always put it to the right. Walking up to the penalty, not on the actual run up, because putting it to the right is so much easier than putting it to the left when your legs aren't stiff.
Right.
And because if you can put it in that left-hand corner because you can put so much whip and power on it, it's so much better. But I always bottle it. So I have scored like
loads.
80% of my penalties.
Yeah.
So it's a decent ratio, but I have missed a few.
Yeah. Well, of course. I mean, you've got to, haven't you? Even Henderson misses.
Henderson misses quite a lot, though.
Yes. Okay. Right. Now, we are going to be back Wednesday. We're not back on Friday, because we've only actually got, I think, 4 more of these. I did look at the times. We've got Wednesday, then Monday, then we've got to do it on Thursday, and then Monday, and then we finish. So this week it's Wednesday, and then next week it's Monday and Thursday, and then Monday, and we're done with these.
Lovely.
Okay, so hey everybody, we're back on Wednesday, but not Friday, because you've probably had enough anyway. Although we've had more people watch the last one than any others. That's probably because they've accidentally found it, quickly turned it off. With that, we'll say goodbye. Say goodbye, Kieran.
Bye.
And it's bye from me.